Storage Podcast. Hello, it's me, Libbie Higgins, and guess what? I'm the host of Storage Podcast. If this is your first time watching Storage Podcast, I'm Libbie Higgins, and this is Storage Podcast. We're in a storage unit in Nashville, Tennessee. Haven't been in here for a while because I've been on tour. So again, if this is your first time watching, I'm Libbie Higgins, the host of Storage Podcast. This is a storage unit. This is a podcast, and I'm the host. If you look behind me, we have the holiday globe in full regalia. And if you look on this side of me, you see it says storage. In case you're watching this and you say to yourself, what am I watching? And you'll know by looking at that. It feels like the camera's a little high today, but we're going to keep it like that because the last time I was in here, I cut the top of my head off, and we don't want to cut heads off. We want heads to be in it because there's not a lot of people who are out there that like to watch podcasts with decapitated bodies. Trigger warning. Oh, boy, we're back in Nashville for a few days. Have a small break. We have a show in Oklahoma, a show in Dallas, Texas, and then we are done until the fall. And you might say to yourself, wow, it's time to relax, kick back, and have fun. Guess what? There's no time for that because I have to make storage podcasts and content and YouTube videos. Pretty cool, huh? I make my own schedule, and I appreciate that and like that. I need to check my hair again. I feel like it's got a wow. Yep. And I am sweating, and the reason I'm sweating is because we are at 82 degrees here in the storage unit. 82 degrees with a 51% humidity. That means the air is 50% humid, which means there's a lot of fluid in the air, a lot of moisture, a lot of wetness, it's very moist, which is fine. Love moist, love wetness, love the heat. Not going to complain about the heat because I've been complaining all winter about the cold, and I don't want anything to do with the cold. Whoa, turn that up in my earphones, and that was loud. What's up with me? I'm glad to be home. I haven't done a lot of things that I need to be doing, like laundry. I'm going to save that till the last minute. Today's Wednesday, tomorrow's Thursday, we leave Friday, so I need to do laundry tomorrow. Also need to repack, and I'm repacking for 2 shows, but also directly after that, I'll be going to visit my friend Harold in Denver, so I need to pack for that. What does that include? Well, what I like to wear every day is black leggings. Very noisy. I like to wear black leggings. The reason I like to wear black leggings every day is because trigger warning, talking about weight. What is all that noise? Since I stopped smoking, I'm packing on the pounds, and I'm not necessarily eating anymore or drinking anymore. What I am assuming is my metabolism has slowed down a little bit because, the cigarettes make you feel like, ooh, wah! That's how a cigarette makes you feel. So if I'm wearing a black legging, in my brain, it's a good fit because it'll stretch, a little bit here, there, everywhere. Also, the black legging is like a compression legging to me. And knowing that I have bad legs that have the tendency to swell, the black legging is good for me and my legs. Also, you can't go wrong with a black legging. You want to pair it with a nice blouse? Do it. You want to pair it with a t-shirt like I do right now? Do it. You want to pair it with a cardigan sweater and turtleneck? I don't know if that would be the best choice, but you can do what you want. Have I paired a pair of black leggings with a turtleneck and a cardigan? No. Would I? I don't have a turtleneck right now, or I might. First impressions when coming back in my storage space yesterday was that everything's the same except we got some water in here. And that is because we had some torrential rain pours, I'm assuming, while I was gone. And, this place is old. There's a hole in the door. So water's going to get in here. It's going to seep under everything. Luckily, I'm smart enough to have everything up in case it floods. I'm not a dummy. And my Glad tour is winding down a little bit. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. Will I miss it? Yes. Will I miss having the chance to do comedy every single night, therefore increasing my skills? Yeah. Because you don't think you're learning a lot when you're doing it every night, but when you are doing it every night, doing the continuous reps and practicing is just like with anything. If you're practicing and doing it, you're going to get better. So I feel like I'm getting better at my stage presence. I'm getting better at being quick if something happens, even though here's my thing. I'm going to talk to the people that are listening like they don't know what stand-up comedy is. And I'm not trying to insult your intelligence. I'm just going to say it from the bottom. Stand-up comedy is not a conversation between people, meaning the audience and the comedian. And there is a time to say something, and that is when the comedian is saying to the audience, hey, blah, 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 blah. With the recent popularity of crowd work videos on TikTok and Instagram, I think more people that don't typically come to a comedy show are thinking that this is a time for you to scream out and yell, hey, blah, blah, blah. And it's not. And I'm wondering if this is going to change the way stand-up comedy is done. These are just my initial thoughts. Because, God, I'm sweating. When people are seeing these viral videos on the internet of people doing crowd work, that gives people the impression that this is a free-for-all where you can just scream and yell and that's how it is. And again, it's not. That is a certain genre of comedy, I think. And it's becoming more popular, but I don't want people to think that's all stand-up comedy is, because it's not. Me personally, I love crowd work. I love doing it. It makes me feel like I'm, chilling with the audience. But not every comedian wants that. Not because we're doing our set. And if someone is yelling right when we're about to do a punchline and saying, oh, eat a tomato, and it has nothing to do with what you're talking about, that's going to not only throw you off, but throw the audience off and be like, what? So we can't deliver a good product to you if someone's interrupting us. And of course, this is just my opinion. Now, if I'm saying to the audience, hey, do you like eating tomatoes? Then they can respond to me. Otherwise, it's not a time for people to scream out. It's not a heavy metal concert where you're like, yeah, hail Satan. That's not what stand-up comedy is. All I'm saying is be cautious when you're seeing these viral videos on TikTok, the Instagram, the Facebook, where it's all they're doing is crowd work. That's not all stand-up comedy is. And sometimes that might even get you kicked out of a club if you're screaming and hollering like that. Let's see if the temperature has increased. It's 82 degrees. Maintaining a high of 82 here. Love the summer. Love the sun. Let's go ahead and check out a voicemail.
Love you, Libbie. I wish I had to fart, but I don't. I'll send a fart in another message. Have an amazing day.
Not sure who that caller was from a 715 area code. If you weren't able to hear, this is just the caption. Love you, Libbie. Wish I had to fart, but I don't. Let's listen again.
Love you, Libbie.
It's a burp.
I wish I had to fart, but I don't. I'll send a fart in another message. Have an amazing day.
Thanks for wishing me an amazing day. And thanks for trying to fart. A burp is good enough for me. Because what is a burp? A burp is just a fart that comes out of your mouth. Thanks for that message. When you get your fart, you can go ahead and call in. Oh, look, we got Nick. Nick loves calling in.
Hey, Libbie, it's Nick from Dayton again. Heads up. There is a YouTube channel where this woman does covers of songs in Klingon, like the Klingons from Star Trek. I cannot even begin to tell you how awesome it is, and she has lots of music. You should check it out. She's called the Klingon Pop Warrior.
I don't know why, but it brings me joy that Nick calls the Storage Podcast Hotline so much. And it's just the most random thing. Nick just called to tell us that there is a woman on YouTube that sings Star Trek songs. Are you a big fan of Star Trek? I'm not. Are you a person that's called Star Trek your whole life? Yeah. What the hell? I'm trying to see my phone number because I can never remember it. I can never remember what my... Whoa! Never remember what my voicemail number is. Calls. Let me see here. Huh? If you want to, go ahead and check out Klingon Pop Warrior singing Klingon songs. I don't know enough about the Star Trek language to know about these songs, but if you'd like to connect with Nick is obviously in Dayton because he says it every time. Hi, this is Nick from Dayton. Heads up, there's a YouTube channel. She does Klingon songs. If you're a big fan of that, go ahead and check her out. Don't know anything about her. All right, here's another one.
Hey, honey, big fan here. Hey, Libbie, I just wanted to call and say that I love your podcast, love Salt City, love all the gang, and when you guys came last year to Salt Lake City, I came and saw you with my friend, and we just totally laughed. Seriously, the hardest we've ever laughed in a long time. And I just wanted to tell you that it made me feel good because I don't get out a lot, and I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I'm always at home with my kids. So it was so nice to get out and just have a good belly laugh. Anyway, honeys, keep doing what you're doing, and just wanted to let you know that we love you.
What a sweet message. That was from, I think she said Utah. Did she say Utah or to make that up? Yes, Salt Lake City. Thanks for calling, honeys. I'm sorry you don't get out as much because you're a stay-at-home mom. And that's the thing about stay-at-home moms. They work hard, and they work harder than a lot of people that I know because their job isn't from 9 to 5 or 8:15 to 4:15 or 7:30 to 2:30. Their job is from always. Their job is from every hour on the clock. Especially when you have little ones, you can't let up. You might think, oh, my kid's in the crib in the baby bassinet taking a nap. I'm going to take a little nap. Well, guess what? As soon as you lay down to take a nap, guess who you're going to hear crying? Baby. Little baby. Little toddler. Because toddlers have this sixth sense. They know when their mommy or daddy is going to take a nap for relaxation. And in the baby's mind, and it's instinctual, the baby's not actually thinking, oh, my mommy's napping, I'm going to wake them up. There's some sort of instinct that has been handed down through generations of DNA that tells a baby, if my mom's going to the bathroom, if my mom's taking a shower, if my mom is relaxing, I'm going to start crying. I don't know what that is. I'm not a DNA specialist. Heck, I'm not even a specialist of anything. You got a new genetic report on 23andMe. Let's go ahead and check that out. Lupus. We just released a new report about lupus that may be of interest to you. Lupus is a group of autoimmune conditions that can occur in several forms, ranging from small rash to severe diseases that can affect multiple organs in the body. Symptoms typically come and go throughout its life in flares, but if left untreated, it can have serious health consequences. My 23andMe has extracted my DNA that I willingly gave to them and used that DNA to see if I am predisposed to certain illnesses. All right, and it says an estimated one out of 100 people with genetics like mine develop lupus by their 60s. So that's I have a typical likelihood of developing lupus is what it says. Good news. You could see here on this little graph, 1 in 100 people will develop it. And I think I'm okay on the lupus thing. I have some other. Let me go into my 23andMe and see what other things I'm predisposed to. Hereditary prostate cancer. Choose whether to receive this report. I'm going to go ahead and choose to receive it. And the reason some of these, they ask you if you want to know whether you have an increased likelihood, because people don't want to be jarred or scared or freak out. Do I want to see late onset Alzheimer's? Do I want to see Parkinson's? Do I want to see that? Do I want to see that? I'm going to say yes. I don't have a prostate, so I don't think I have to worry about that, right? Women don't have prostates, correct? I don't know. Do I have one? Answer in the comments if I have a prostate. It's not really telling me a lot of information. I'm assuming that I'm not at risk for that. View reports. It said that it does not diagnose cancer. All right, pregnancy. Okay, it says 0 variants detected. I'm good. I'm good on the prostates. Okay. I want to see the other reports. Important about your, okay. Late onset Alzheimer's. 0 variants detected. Good, that's good. Even though I feel like I might have that sometimes. Myooth-associated polyposis. 0 variants detected. I'm good on that. Parkinson's disease. 0 variants detected. Anxiety. Shocker. Libbie, your genetic result is associated with an increased likelihood of being diagnosed with anxiety. An estimated 69 out of 100 people with genetics like mine have been diagnosed with anxiety in their 20s. Look at that. All those people, all those little blue people, we all have anxiety. All righty. How did they know? Oh, the depression one. Guess what? An estimated 76 people out of 100 people with the same genetic makeup as me will experience depression. Uh-oh, we're getting into the serious stuff. High blood pressure. Libbie, your genetic result is associated with an increased likelihood of developing high blood pressure. Not surprised. Kidney stones. Guess what, folks? Increased likelihood. My mom had a polycystic kidney disease. Checks out. LDL cholesterol, increased likelihood. Migraine, increased likelihood. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, increased likelihood. Preeclampsia, increased likelihood. Psoriasis, increased likelihood. Rosacea, increased likelihood. Guess what? Who has that? Type 2 diabetes, increased likelihood. Uterine fibroids, increased likelihood. And that's all the increased likelihood. The rest of them are just normal. Gallstones, gestational diabetes, glaucoma, gout, Hashimoto's disease, irritable bowel syndrome. All these are just regular. Oh, okay. So I have also discovered via my DNA that according to my genetics, I am not a good metabolizer of certain medications. One of them being Celexa, another one being Plavix, another one being Plavix, Celexa, and that's all I see. FYI. So don't ever try to give me Celexa because my body is like, no, we don't want Celexa. We want a different medication. Medicine cabinet. What does that tell me? Plex. Oh, Prilosec is not good either. I'm glad I'm just sharing you with all this information. Isn't it also Lexapro? Lexapro, I think I've tried that. Makes sense. I'd like to share that with my psychiatrist and say, hey, you're thinking about putting me on Lexapro? Guess what? 23andMe, which is a very reputable DNA place, says my body doesn't metabolize it well. Well, you know what it metabolizes well? Sugar. You put a sugar in my body, guess what? Watch this. Shazam. My body feels awake, alive. I feel like I could do anything. But give me a Lexapro, my body's like, I don't think so. Not today. We ain't messing with Lexapro. We ain't messing with Celexa. And we ain't messing with a heartburn medicine. There's a little bug in here, probably because there's some wetness. Don't be alarmed about my health. Of course, this is I'm going to say it's for entertainment purposes only because 23andMe is not a medical doctor. 23 has not taken my blood and run a diagnostic test on if my LDH or LDL or whatever that cholesterol is high. I'm sure it is. Let's not joke around. I'm sure it is. What's my favorite food? Fatty, deep fried foods. Love a fatty, deep fried food. You put anything deep fried, I'm going to eat it. Went to a restaurant with Chelsea and the gang, Tina, Beth, and Lola. Very famous restaurant in Boston called Union Oyster Hall or something like that. One of the oldest, it is the oldest running restaurant in the United States. And it served mostly fish because it's Boston and that's what they have access to. And I don't like fish. But I got myself some butterfly shrimp, which was deep fried, and it tasted pretty good because it was deep fried. But I just imagined people in the olden days just like, hey, let's go up to the Union Oyster House and get some oysters. First of all, how long it would take for them to get from the harbor or their house. It took a long time for people to get everywhere back in the old days because they didn't have cars. But that's good because there's not a lot of parking in Boston. So you're better off having either a horse carriage, or just walking. Because you're not parking anywhere in Boston, and you're not parking anywhere in New York City. In fact, you're not even wanting to drive in New York City because it's such a cluster. And shout out to anyone who has the audacity, who has the mental wherewithal to live in New York City, because that's one of the craziest towns I've ever been to. The nonstop honking that takes place in New York City is ridiculous. I'm assuming that when you're born in New York City, or when you're moved there, or maybe when you take your driving test in New York City, there is a part on the driving test, both written and the driving portion of the test, that says if you're not able to honk at least 3,000 times in this 10-minute driver's test, then you cannot drive in New York. Your driver's test is going to say things like, can't park by a fire hydrant, true or false. Turn your wheels to the left or right when parking, going on a hill, up. And then it's going to say, I should honk this many times per minute, and it'll have a multiple choice. 0, 1, 50, or 1,000. And if you don't circle 1,000 on your written test, you're not getting your driver's license, folks. Guess what? If you're a driver in New York City and you don't honk, you can't drive. Oh my God, my sis is out having a good time in Memphis. My Karen sis. I just don't understand the honking in New York City. I could maybe deal with the people, the lights, the smells, the sounds, if people weren't honking. New York City, stop honking at everything. It doesn't help. When you honk at someone, does that move their car? No. What it does is enrage the driver, give the driver anxiety, make the driver want to get out of the car and start violently screaming or punching you. Stop honking, New York City, please. I'm begging you. I'm begging you. Stop honking. What are you honking at? And it's not just a burp, burp, burp. It's not just a nice, cute little, it's a nerd, nerd. I beg you, please, stop honking. It's nonstop. Even when you're staying in a hotel, or maybe you have a nice little apartment in New York, you can still hear the honking. And I assume that if you live in New York, you're going to become immune to the honking sound, because you'd have to, or you'd go crazy. You know how in Edgar Allan Poe about the guy that killed someone, and then underneath the floorboard he could hear the honking and it drove him insane? I mean, he didn't hear honking. What he heard was a heartbeat or something. That's how I imagine it is to live in New York. It's constant. It's constant. Just thinking about it brought me in a lot of anxiety. We had a cool show in New York City, though, at the Palladium. I don't know how to say it. Nice people, nice green room, great audience. The audience brought it. fun stage. Oh, that's what happened. During my set, over the monitors, which are located on the stage so I can hear myself, was a very low-grade music. Very low. And I kept saying to the audience, do you hear that music? Do you hear that music? And they kept saying, yes. And I kept saying to the sound people, hey, can you turn that music off? Because I can't help make myself think. I can't hear myself think. And the whole time I'm struggling. I'm like, I can't do this. I cannot say my words when that music is playing. Which is on par for New York City where there's so much honking, you can't think. Here comes a truck. I made some funny, I started talking about the music and being funny about it because that's the only choice I had because I was suffering. All my sensory issues came to light on that day because I was like, I cannot do this. I am not okay. And then it sounded like somebody in the audience said, fix it. And I'm thinking he's talking to me when he's talking to the people. And I go, how am I supposed to fix it? And I get down and pretend I'm fixing the speaker. And that's when the speaker, because I had the microphone so close to it, had feedback so loud that it blew out my eardrum and everyone's eardrums in the place. And we all passed away. And a little bit of blood came running out of my ear real slow, like. Cool story. These are the things that happen on tour. And I knew it had to be off before Chelsea got up there because Chelsea she has even more of an issue when she can't talk or think when there's other talking or music going on. She's just as bad, if not worse than me in that case. And I'm just like, please get this off, because Chelsea's going to come up here and lose it on y'all's ass. But by the end of it, it was gone and everything was fine. Finished my set and walked off the stage and went to the back and kissed Gary. Because that's what we do. We kiss Gary. We hug Gary. Now I know why people have emotional support animals, because Gary is truly an emotional support animal for all of us on tour. He is the love of our lives, the cutest little guy, the smallest boy. You can't even see him with a human eye. You have to get a microscope to see Gary. That's how small he is and furry and cute. He's so small and cute. Oh, he's so cute. I don't know if Gary's coming with us to the last little bit of this tour. Annie's not coming. I have to take Annie back to Maggie's, which is so sad. Annie loves Maggie. She loves Maggie so much that she follows her around and sleeps on her chest. Does Andy sleep on my chest? No, because I can't sleep on my back because my booty is too large. She loves Maggie, though, and I appreciate Maggie keeping her. And once I get back here to Nashville on a consistent basis, I'm going to have Maggie in the studio here, possibly getting a new chair because nobody likes this chair. I thought I could pass it off, get away with it. No one likes it. It's uncomfortable, it's awful, and there's nowhere to put the microphone. Got to work on that. We went to the Waffle House a couple times. Here's one more. Let me play this, and then I'll talk about Waffle House.
Hey, Libbie. My name is Jennifer, and I met you at the St. Paul, Minnesota show. It was the time of my life. I had the best time at that show. I met you afterwards at the meet and greet. We showed each other our bras. Yours was a cute yellow with flowers, and mine was leopard.
Hello.
Anyway, so I went home that night, obviously on cloud nine because I had such a fun time at the show. And I woke up the next day and was depressed.
Aww.
It kind of hit me like a brick that I was so depressed because the show was over. I wasn't looking forward to it anymore. I was on such a high with you guys. Everything was so good and so funny. And then, bam. So I just wanted to tell you that thank you for normalizing it. I know a lot of times after you go home after tour, you have some, issues with depression, and you talk about your brain being sick, and I recognized it the next day, and it took me a couple of days to get out of it, but thank you for talking about it. Thank you for making me feel like I'm normal, and I love you, Libbie. You're really an amazing person.
Oh, honey.
Bye, Aunt Legs.
Aunt Legs. Oh, Aunt Legs. I do remember you. I remember showing our bras off, and what a funny thing. So many funny things happen in meet and greets. I can't remember why we did it, but I'm assuming like we both have big boobs, and we're like, hey, look at us. We have cute bras for big boobs. I do remember that. And I love anything leopard print. And the story you told about the next day being depressed is so relatable to me, because when I was, it was middle school, grade school, I was a huge fan of the Monkees. Not the animal, the band. Mickey Dolenz, Davy Jones, Peter Tork, and Michael Nesmith. I loved the Monkees so much. I had their posters all over my walls. I listened to all their music. I listened to their records. Obsessed with them. And when they would come in concert, I would be looking forward to it for months and months, and be so excited. And then the show would come and it would be over in a flash. And then the next day, depression. Just like you. Except at the time when I was a teenager, well, I wasn't even a teenager. I was probably 11 or 12. I didn't know what it was. And I'm just crying and trying to explain it to my mom. Like, I just kept crying and saying, they're gone, talking about the Monkees. They're gone. Davy Jones is gone. And I'm kind of laughing now because it is funny. But back then it was devastating. Because like you said, that was something for me to look forward to and kind of kept me going for a while. And probably having some depression issues before that, but not really knowing until the event was over. Oh my God, I could just feel it in my stomach. I didn't want to go to school. I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted the Monkees to come back. I get it. The same thing would happen to me the end of the summer when it was time to go back to school. I'd get so depressed, and I would just cry, and I would not want to go to school. Oh my God. Oh. I know my dad one time took us on a trip to Washington, D.C., and all four of us kids were in this tiny car driving to Washington, D.C. We stopped in Virginia and did all these different things. But when we got back, I'm telling you, I cried probably for a week. I was so depressed because we'd been looking forward to this trip with our dad for so long, and he'd hyped it up, and then it was over. And when it's over, it's like, what now? What do we do now? We just go back to regular life? We're not staying in a hotel or swimming or beating each other up? Because my dad would always make sure to get a hotel with both cable TV and a swimming pool, because he'd go down to the swimming pool and smoke cigarettes while we would all swim and possibly, try to drown each other, because that's what siblings do. Dad, she's trying to drown me. And he'd just be like, okay, honey. He's not really paying attention. He's making sure that we're not actually drowning, but not really paying attention to what's going on. So Jennifer, I can relate. It's weird that I'm involved in a show that someone else feel sad that it's over. That's weird for me. Because for, forever, like I'm saying, when it was the Monkees or the New Kids or any sort of like celebrity thing, because I what is the word? I would hook onto celebrities. I would get, sort of obsessed with, I would get obsessed with celebrities like the Monkees. I was obsessed with Michael J. Fox at one point. I was obsessed with New Kids, obviously. I'd get obsessed with these things, and I think in a way, this was a way for me to, feel okay, even though a lot of the time I wasn't okay. So if I was maybe focusing on getting posters or listening to their music or getting magazines and cutting out pictures of these people, that it sort of was like a self-medicating thing. Because I think a lot of the time I wasn't okay and didn't know how to tell anyone that, or people around me, the adults, didn't know how to recognize that something was not okay. I mean, they obviously knew something was not okay because I was a weird kid, but they didn't have the knowledge or whatever to know that, like, oh, maybe she's experiencing signs of anxiety or trauma or depression or whatever it was. Which I get. I'm not blaming anybody. Everybody's learning. Everybody did the best they could. But sometimes I will look back on how fanatical I was about, certain celebrities, certain bands. And I think it was an escape for me. And I think maybe that's normal for people to have an escape in something that something like that. Escape in a TV show is escape into a video game where it takes you out of your real life and makes you feel better. Even if that's temporary, I guess. Whew, let's wipe off some of this sweat. I think also obsessing over bands and celebrities was safe too, because I think as a young person, I felt disappointed a lot by people. And for me, it was safe to have these figures that I didn't actually know them. Like, they can't disappoint me if I don't really know them as people. Does that make sense? Am I making any sense? Woo! Alrighty, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, looks like I have a napkin on my head because I'm sweating profusely. Temperature today and right now is 84 degrees. It's gone up a few degrees because we're in a hot tin roof. I'm boiling. I'm burning. I'm so hot for your love. I'm burning. I'm churning. I'm burning up for your love. Somebody commented on Facebook. It's like, I just don't like your podcast because I don't like it. And I was like, cool, you don't have to like it. It's not for everybody. But you don't have to leave a comment saying you don't like it because I don't care. Obviously, I care a little bit because I obviously responded. And then they said, it's just the singing for me. I don't like the singing. But how can you not like this? I turn on the same song and I start singing. I just sing and sing and sing and sing and sing and sing and sing now. I love to sing the songs. I love to make up lyrics, yeah. See, this is me. If I was a kid and I had this, if I had this song and this microphone, would never stop singing in a microphone. Yeah, 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 yeah. Would never sing on key. Man, I wish I had that technology as a kid. God, I feel cheated. All I had was a tape recorder. feel so cheated. I did have a Mr. Microphone, though. That was kind of cool. Ladies and gentlemen, so sweaty. So sweaty, folks. Let's take a picture together. I'm stupid. Alrighty, folks. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here because I need to make a phone call in 2 minutes, and my alarm's going to go off. And it's going to make so much noise that it's going to kill us all. Thanks for calling. Thanks for joining me again on the Storage Podcast. The next time I see you, I'll be in Denver. And then the next time after that, probably Denver again. And then after that, starting in June, I'll be back here. Stay tuned for a regular podcast. Love y'all. Podcast. Storage. Bye. Bye, guys. Thanks for joining. Love y'all. Bye-bye.